Greetings everybody, welcome to G4G on YouTube. Today we're going to take a look at our highly maligned game that we occasionally take a look at on this channel, and let's be honest, it's not always in the most positive of lights. So you might be able to hear from the music in the background. We're going to take a look at our favorite Marvel's Abdongers, otherwise known as Marvel's Avengers. Is it really appropriate to call it Marvel's Abdongers anymore now that they're doing MCU skins? Well, that's what we are here to discuss. So you guys are taking a look at my current Marvel's Avengers roster. Black Widow on the left, you've got Hawkeye, and from there in his Ronin suit, but god, I wish I got the other Ronin suit instead of Prince's Purple Rain over there. Cap, Hulk in his Maestro skin. I forgot what Kamala's is. Thor in one of his better ones, my absolute favorite Kate Bishop one, and Iron Man in a legendary over there. So today we've got to talk about what's going on with Black Widow. So we have the Red Room event going on right now, which I haven't really gotten to play any events towards it yet. However, if you take a look over on Reddit, people are upset that it just seems another way of throwing skins into the marketplace. And there are some Red Room skins right now which are basically recolors of some existing ones. Now, some people actually come out of it looking pretty decent, others do not. But the big thing is Marvel's Avengers is going towards MCU skins right now. And the first one that they're going to be doing is Black Widow. Right over there. So there's one of her actual normal game skins. And notice the tonfas over there that kind of look like photo tubes. Or poster tubes that she split in half. There's Kamala. That's my main. That's pretty much was my first decked out character. And she is who I use whenever I got a big challenge going on. So here is my current Black Widow, who runs the Fear Itself outfit, which Fear Itself in Marvel Heroes looked a little bit different than this, but it is one of my cooler ones that I like. There is her Stark Tech one, which the game gives you. Classic Stealth, which to me is about as iconic for Black Widow as it could get. So I'll give them props to that. The disc belt, the wrist darts over there, the kind of shiny aesthetic to the outfit, the hair. I actually think this one is really good, and it's probably very comic spot on from what I know. I have Tactical, which is just kind of a ribbed shirt setup going on over there. There's Iconic, which is basic. Deadly, which is a little bit better coloring. Obsidian, which kind of actually reminds me of the way they make Maria Rappaccini look in the game. And then we have Midnight. So these are the ones that I have unlocked, and I prefer either Classic Stealth or Fear Itself. And down here, Infiltrator is kind of a big thing. We want to pay attention to Infiltrator when we start talking about the MCU skins. There's Duskwalker, which is kind of got a hair that I hate. And here it is. Marvel Studios Avengers Endgame Legendary Outfit. And it cost 1,400 credits, which is the equivalent of $14. There is Black Widow Saboteur. Silent Fate, which again looks pretty much, it looks very, very similar to the more comic-y one that I have. As a matter of fact, I don't even know that it's that much different than that, except for maybe the hair. Very, very similar. Black Widow Agent, which in the thumbnail looks kind of S.H.I.E.L.D.-esque, but when you see the actual suit, it doesn't. Pit Crew for Speed Racer. Black Widow Cosmonaut. Black Widow Crimson Scythe is actually Speed Racer, the car, sort of. Silver Stripe's not too bad. Don't like Gray Suit. I mean, but I know this is pretty comic close. Gray Suit did feature that shorter hair. There's Blood Moon, which I think is pretty cool. Dark Fang. And, you know, she's got some others, including some that look like Sonya from Mortal Kombat. Especially when it was played by Ronda Rousey. And that is kind of an overview of the skins that she's got now. So I want to go ahead and back out to the main menu over here so we can see things from the actual shop, because we want to talk about the Red Room ones too. So as this is launching over to the main menu so we can look at the marketplace, we need to discuss how bad this is. This is like opening a Nintendo 64 box on Christmas and finding some Bugle Boy jeans, really, if you want to throw it back there. And your parents saying, oh, well, that's just a box that we had, or, you know, that's just a box that we had to grab to put your clothes in. You're like, where's the Nintendo 64? Well, you have Bugle Boy jeans. We have Nintendo 64 at home. So what we got to talk about here is the fact that by drip drying the MCU skins, they are taking away player agency and player choice. If you like Black Widow in this game and you don't really have a lot of good skins for her, and here comes the Avengers in Endgame one, you're like, yay, finally Sony and CD, Crystal Dynamics, not Sony, Square and CD are finally listening. We're finally getting MCU skins, and I'm going to drop my money because I'm not really good at earning credits. I'm going to drop my money and I'm going to get this skin. And then what happens 2 weeks from now when Thor drops? And 2 weeks from now when Iron Man drops? And 2 weeks from now when Cap drops? I don't know that that's a schedule. I'm speaking hypothetically. And then you're like, oh, well, my Thor is okay. I'm going to use the one that I have for Thor. And then Cap drops and you're like, oh my god, I have no skins for Cap. I want the skin. Another $14. And another one. Another one. Another one. If they drop them all at the same time, you would be able to have player agency. You would make an informed choice as to what you want to spend your hard-earned credits or money for. Let's actually look at this uniform because they're still fucking it up. I happened to go on YouTube and I did Black Widow Endgame, and there was a video there that was all of Black Widow's scenes in the movie, and I can tell you the front looks pretty good. It does look very close to the movie. You see the guns on her hip are smaller than the guns that she uses in game. They're more Scarlett Johansson appropriate. But here is where Square and CD fucked it up so bad and why people are pissed off. This is the Black Widow hair that comes with the game. And you might sit there and say, well, Mr. Napalm, let's play. The semantics game is uniform, not hair. Well, yeah, but we just went through and saw a bunch of Black Widow skins where the hair changes. You got the short cropped hair, you had the hat, you had different hairstyles with the different colors. So you absolutely had hair changes with the skins. It's possible that they could have at least given her two-tone hair after the 5 years had passed in the movie, after Thanos' death. Even if they couldn't give us the braid because they're like, oh, well, you know, we don't have that model, they could have done the two-tone hair at the very least. Obviously, we weren't going to ask for a face change. That's probably licensing to Scarlett, maybe separate from licensing to Marvel for the character. But they could have done the two-tone kind of flame hair if they didn't do the braid. And then we look on the back. Now, this is why I was trying to look at this video. I didn't know if the tonfas came through her back piece, sort of like Deadpool's swords. I was trying to catch clips of it. I don't think they do. So maybe they did get this right, but my reflex reaction, my knee-jerk was, oh, see, you know, they even screwed up the tonfas. They're supposed to go through this backpack thing. I don't actually think they are. So maybe they got that right. But I do believe once she whips the tonfas out, it's still the poster tubes. And I can't confirm this as I'm not really tempted to buy the skin because this is so aggravating what they're doing. I believe once she pulls her guns out, they become her bigger Marbles of Donger's guns, not the guns that you see on her hip. Unfortunately, I don't really have a way of confirming that. I'd have to pick her and then look an emote like the shell catch one. That, I noticed something about that shell catch one over here, so I went into it just to take a look. And it is this one over here, Souvenir. If you watch it closely, she doesn't actually eject a real shell. The gun goes through the motions like she's ejecting a shell, and she catches nothing. That kind of really pissed me off when I saw that. I was like, you gotta be kidding me, right? You can't make just a tiny brass casing for this $5 emote? Blew my mind when I actually realized that there is no casing there. So, you know, here we have a bunch that are the color swaps. See, look, Rare Outfit has red hair for this rare Black Widow Crimson Scythe. Over here in Dark Fang, dark hair. That haircut changes from that. Granted, these are mostly solid colors or the same palette, but if they could change the hair, they could have absolutely spent a little bit of time coding in a more appropriate haircut, or at least taken this haircut right here and just flame jobbed it. I mean, ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous on their part. The cool thing is some of these Crimson Room nameplates are actually pretty good, but what's interesting is if you look at Kamala's, it's pretty good on the banner and it's pretty good on the thumbnail. You look at Hawkeye, pretty solid. You look at Iron Man, I think it even gets better in its banner form from the thumbnail. I think that is really, really appropriate for him because it looks like circuitry. And then you go over to the Cap one, and you can't even tell what the fuck's going on. The thumbnail doesn't look that great, and then even when you see it on the banner, it's so dark. You're like, is that Daredevil? Is that Matt Murdock going on in there? The Thor skin, not that great. It's just a reskin or a recolor of one of his more denim-y looks, although the color scheme is nice and you get more of a metallic feel to some of what's going on over here, but the arms are a little pale in their textures, and the way the upper dinner plates on his chest flex when he breathes, you think you're like looking at some big ass saucer aerials up there. It's not awful, but it's not that great either. At least the texture of the black looks a little bit better. It's a little Kevlar-ish, but his pants kind of still look like stretch jeans. Hawkeye, on the other hand, I think his Red Room one looks fantastic. I think this looks really good and really edgy. However, the bow and the quiver and the arrows are purple. Why could they have not extended the color scheme back here? Swing and a miss on this, but the rest of it I think is pretty good. Looking at Hulk, not bad. Gray Hulk with the red and black pants, pretty solid. Kamala is not Red Room. She is actually a Beach Day one. I think the mask is a little goofy, but I like the rest of the outfit. I think the colors are cool. It's cool to get her a mask one without a cape. And then we have Blood Moon. They're really missing the mark on this Black Widow one, and knowing that there's some issues with the tonfas going on over there, and I think they're still the wrong model. I think they're the fat default ones, and hearing that when she actually uses the guns, they're not shrunk to be what's on her hips right over there. They're still the giant game ones. It's like, why are people being duped into paying $14 for a game they probably already paid full price for at one point, if not maybe the Steam sales and everything? But if you were an early adopter like me who pre-ordered to get some of those Obsidian skins and everything, you paid good money for this game, and now paying another $14 for a half-ass skin that doesn't include the flame color hair, doesn't include the braid, may have issues with the tonfas of the batons, and may have issues with the guns. And the game still has issues. The last time I played the game, I was on Thor. I did a hive. Guess what happened in the fucking hive again? A mob got caught in the scenery and required skills and abilities to DPS it down while stuck in a wall, not able to be hit by other things. And I also had one of the Maestro's Future Desert Worlds bug out on me, where some enemy somewhere disappeared, and it was that wave that you go through in that section was never considered complete, and I had to abandon the mission and do it again because fuck God knows why. But on a hive, Thor, I think it's a Thor thing more than it's a hive thing, but for me, Thor constantly puts mobs into walls, into canisters, and just the scenery in general, and I have to use AoE and abilities to DPS it down, hopefully sometime within the century that I started on, just to pass through the floor. And it's so risky to get to floor 4 or 5 and think, oh damn, I put an adaptoid in the wall, and now I gotta hope this attack can actually hit it, so that my time isn't wasted by me quitting to the Xbox main menu, throwing the controller across the room, and walking out. So, Square, Crystal Dynamics, kind of a big swing and a miss again. I mean, you're taking away player choice, you're taking away player agency. It comes out as greed, really is what it is. If everything across this top row right now was endgame suits, people could make an informed decision. They could say, I have limited money to spend on this. This is what I'm going to do it on because this is the character that I need better skins, or this is what I think is the best skin. They lead with Black Widow, who is 75% identical to skins already in the game. This is not your best foot forward, and it's a buggy foot forward. This does not instill confidence in the rest of the people. And here's the thing, if this is not evergreen, as Destiny 2 people like to call their stuff, if this isn't permanent, and this goes away after a limited time, and then another endgame one pops up, you might get suckered into continually buying $14, rather than waiting it out, having a whole bunch of endgame characters over here, and saying, okay, Thor and Captain America, this is what I want to do over here. This is what I want to spend my money on a game that I've already spent $50, $60 on. So thanks a lot, Square. Thanks a lot, Crystal Dynamics. You have instilled no confidence in this game. You are not winning over any fans, and personally, I think they need to do something big at this point to get people back on board with this game. They gotta get Black Panther out soon, they gotta get Wakanda out soon, they maybe need to rethink what they're doing with Spider-Man as a Sony exclusive. If they can't get out of it, I think they need to get that out soon to get the Sony fanboys happy and the PlayStation fanboys happy. All 7 people who actually were able to get a PlayStation 5 without having to murder people for it. Or go free to play. You know what? Go free to play, live on the skins, charge $10, $14 for MCU skins like this, but then have that be people's only expenditures, and maybe people who've been too afraid to get the game because they've seen how upset fans are at what they do. Maybe they'll be like, okay, well, it's free now. Now there's no risk. Sure, if I want that Thor Endgame outfit when it comes out, that's $14. But then again, I haven't spent any money on this AAA game. I'm not hearing rumors about it going free to play, but they really need to consider it at this point, because if they're still going to have bugs like I run into with Thor, if they're going to make skins that should have made the fans moist in the crotchal regions, making them buggy is just complete deflation. I'd rather go gorge myself on a stuffed crust pizza than spend $14 on that Black Widow and just to see the guns miraculously get bigger in her hands because reasons. So what do you guys think? Are you guys still playing Marvel's Avengers? What are you hearing about the Black Widow skin and the Red Room event? And you know, if you did quit the game, what's going to get you back into it? I'd love to hear it below. So see you, everybody, and have a good weekend.